Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Surah 5, Suratul Ma'idah. Suratul Ma'idah. The food. Maulana Muhammad Ali translation. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, O you who believe, fulfill the obligations. The cattle, quadrupeds are allowed to you except that which is recited to you, not violating the prohibition against game when you are on the pilgrimage. Surely Allah orders what He pleases. O you who believe, violate not the signs of Allah, nor the sacred month, nor the offerings, nor the victims with the garlands, nor those repairing to the sacred house, seeking the grace and pleasure of their Lord. And when you are free from pilgrimage obligations, then hunt, and let not hatred of a people, because they hindered you from the sacred mosque, incite you to transgress, and help one another in righteousness and piety, and help not one another in sin and aggression, and keep your duty to Allah. Surely Allah is severe in requiting evil. The first month, the 7th month, the 11th month, and the 12th month are the sacred months. And the Masjid al-Haram is Mecca proper. Forbidden to you is that which dies of itself, and blood and the flesh of swine. That word means all the meat-eating land animals, and those with the claws and the talons and the fangs, and that on which any other name than that of Allah has been invoked, and the strangled, and that beaten to death, and that killed by a fall, and that killed by goring with the horn, and that which wild beasts have eaten, except what you slaughter, and that which is sacrificed on stones set up, and that you seek to divide by arrows. And that is a transgression this day. Have those who disbelieve despaired of your religion, so fear them not, and fear me. And this day have I perfected for you your religion, and completed my favor to you, and chosen for you Islam as a religion. But whoever is compelled by hunger, nor inclining willfully to sin, then surely Allah is forgiving, merciful. Well, I can hear that I'm hungry. They ask thee as to what is allowed them. Say the good things are allowed to you, and what you have taught the beast and birds of prey, training them to hunt. You teach them of what Allah has taught you. So eat of that which they catch for you, and mention the name of Allah over it, and keep your duty to Allah. Surely Allah is swift in reckoning. In this day good things are made lawful to you, and the food of those who have been given the book is lawful for you, and your food is lawful for them. And so they are the chaste from among the believing women, and the chaste from among those who have been given the book before you, when you give them their dowries, taking them in marriage, not fornicating, nor taking them for paramours in secret. And whoever denies faith, his work indeed is vain, and in the hereafter he is of the losers. And obviously the girlfriend-boyfriend term can, instead of just paramours in secret, that term actually applies here. But obviously, you can't, the people of the book have it, so I can violate the rules that, no, if they're keeping those same rules, you can obviously have the meat of them, you can obviously marry of their women, but, those of good reputation. O you who believe, When you rise up for prayer, wash your faces and your hands up to the elbows, and wipe your heads and your feet up to the ankles. And if you are under an obligation, then wash. If you are sick or on a journey, or one of you comes from the privy, or you have had contact with women, and you cannot find water, betake yourselves to pure earth, and wipe your faces and your hands therewith. Allah desires not to place a burden on you, but He wishes to purify you, and that He may complete His favor on you, so that you may give thanks, and remember Allah's favor on you, and His covenant with which He bound you when He said, "We have heard and obey, and keep your duty to Allah. Surely Allah knows what is in the breast. O you who believe, be upright for Allah, bearers of witness with justice, and let not hatred of a people incite you, nor to act equitably. Be just, that is nearer to observance of duty, and keep your duty to Allah. Surely Allah is aware of what you do. Allah has promised to those who believe and do good deeds, for them is forgiveness and a mighty reward. And those who disbelieve and reject our messages, such are the companions of the flaming fire. O you who believe, remember Allah's favor on you, when a people had determined to stretch out their hands against you, but he withheld your hands for you. But He withheld their hands from you, and keep your duty to Allah, and on Allah let the believers rely. And certainly Allah made a covenant with the children of Israel, and we raised up among them 12 chieftains. And Allah said, surely I am with you, if you keep up prayer, and pay the poor rate, and believe in my messengers, and assist them, and offer to Allah a goodly gift. I will certainly cover your evil deeds, and cause you to enter gardens wherein rivers flow. But whoever among you disbelieves after that, he indeed strays from the right way. But on account of their breaking their covenant, we curse them and harden their hearts. And they alter the words from their places, and neglect a portion of that whereof they were reminded. And thou wilt always discover treachery in them, excepting a few of them. So pardon them and forgive. Surely Allah loves those who perfect doing goodness. And with those who say, we are Christians, we made a covenant, but they neglected a portion of that whereof they were reminded. So we stirred up enmity and hatred among them to the day of resurrection, and Allah will soon inform them of what they did. Now, yes, fanatic from Phantom is to say that they mistake the temple. They mistake the teacher as the teaching, and therefore, they worship the teacher and that sort of thing. But in general, the fanatics are those who are very liberal about following the religion, and yet claim it for the little bit that they decide to have. They know they're neglecting it, but they're saying, there's no law that we have to follow. We just worship the guy and claim to accept him. How can you say Curie, spiritual master? Matthew 7:1, saying Lord, Lord, spiritual Curie, spiritual master is not going to cut it. You have to do the will of the one who sent him. O people of the book, indeed our messenger has come to you, making clear to you much of that which you concealed of the book, and passing over much. Indeed there has come to you from Allah a light and a clear book, whereby Allah guides such as follow His pleasure into the ways of peace, and bring them out of darkness into light by His will, and guides them to the right path. They indeed disbelieve who say, surely Allah, He is the Messiah, son of Mary. Say, who then could control anything as against Allah when He wished to destroy the Messiah, son of Mary, and His mother, and all those on earth, and Allah's is the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, and what is between them. He creates what he pleases, and Allah is possessor power over all things. More generally, if the command of God was to say, "Oh, the Messiah and the Son of Mary," and everybody else, if God had commanded that, what could stop it? There's implications in the way that was translated that would cause some issues that aren't quite there. And the Jews and the Christians say, "We are the sons of Allah and his beloved ones." Say, why does he then chastise you for your sins? Nay, you are mortals from among those whom he has created, and he forgives whom he pleases, and chastises whom he pleases, and Allah's is the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, and what is between them, and to him is the eventual coming. O people of the book, indeed our messenger has come to you, explaining to you, after cessation of the messengers, lest you say, "There came not to us a bearer of good news, nor a warner." So indeed a bearer of good news and a warner has come to you, and Allah is possessor of power over all things. And when Moses said to his people, "O my people, remember the favor of Allah to you, when he raised prophets among you, and made you kings, and gave you what he gave not to any other of the nations. O my people, enter the Holy Land, which Allah has ordained for you, and turn not your backs, for then you will turn back losers." The Holy Land being Sham, but it wasn't a blood and soil covenant, as we can find in the Bible. That wasn't that they were Israelites. It wasn't that they were Jews. It wasn't even Jerusalem that would be included in the Holy Land in Zion. They said, "O Moses, therein are a powerful people, and we shall not enter it until they go out from it. If they go out from it, then surely we will enter." Two men of those who feared, on whom Allah had bestowed a favor, said, "Enter upon them by the gate, for when you enter it you will surely be victorious, and put your trust in Allah if you are believers." They said, "O Moses, we will never enter it so long as they are in it. Go therefore thou and thy Lord, and fight. Surely here we sit." He said, "My Lord, I have control of none but my own self and my brother, so distinguish between us and the transgressing people." He said, "It will surely be forbidden to them for 40 years, and they will wander about in the land. So grieve not for the transgressing people, and relate to them with truth the story of the two sons of Adam, when they offered an offering, but it was acceptable from one of them, and was not acceptable from the other. He said, 'I will certainly kill thee.' Said, 'Allah accepts only.' The other said, 'Allah accepts only from the dutiful.' And even a better deed, without the proper intentions, becomes inferior. So those versions of the story, Cain was a hunter, and Abel was gathering the crops, and therefore Cain's like, "Oh, I've been killed," but it was the intention. "If thou stretch out thy hand against me to kill me, I shall not stretch out my hand against thee to kill thee. Surely I fear Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I would rather that thou shouldest bear the sin against me, and thy own. I would rather that thou shouldest bear the sin against me, and thine own sin, thus thou wouldest be of the companions of the fire, and that is the recompense of the unjust." At length his mind made it easy for him to kill his brother, so he killed him. So he became one of the losers. Then Allah sent a crow scratching the ground to show him how to cover the dead body of his brother. He said, "Woe is me! Am I not able to be as this crow and covered the body of my brother?" So he became of those who regret. For this reason, we prescribed for the children of Israel that whoever kills a person, unless it be for manslaughter or for mischief in the land, it is as though he had killed all mankind, and whoever saves a life, it is as though he had saved the lives of all mankind. And surely our messengers came to them with clear arguments, but even after that, many of them commit excesses in the land. Many of them commit excesses in the land, and the only punishment of those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger and strive to make mischief in the land is that they should be executed or crucified, or their hands and their feet should be cut off from opposite sides, or they should be imprisoned. This shall be a disgrace for them in this world, and in the hereafter they shall have a grievous chastisement. Now, the punishment of crucifixion was only used in the case of serial killers or terrorists, as you might call them, against the state. Actually, people who've actually killed people, and a couple people went to the public, the public flocks, and they killed the shepherds and robbed. But this was, the state goods. This wasn't. So that's what's meant by a war against God. Certainly people have a spiritual war, and all faiths that aren't your own are, to a degree, in spiritual war with you, but that's not what's being talked about here. It's the physical war. Whether it's considered a holy war, or it's just, we can take something from this. Except those who repent before you overpower them, so know that Allah is forgiving, merciful. O you who believe, keep your duty to Allah, and seek means of nearness to Him. And strive hard in His way, that you may be successful. Those who disbelieve, even if they had all that is in the earth, and the like of it with it, to ransom themselves therewith from the chastisement of the day of resurrection, it would not be accepted from them, and theirs is a painful chastisement. They would desire to come forth from the fire, and they will not come forth from it, and theirs is a lasting chastisement. And the man and the woman addicted to theft, cut off their hands as a punishment for what they have earned, an exemplary punishment from Allah, and Allah is mighty wise. And for the man and woman who has committed theft, cut their hands as a punishment for what they have earned, and an exemplary punishment from Allah, and Allah is mighty wise. It's not some little thing. It's not people stealing for their needs. And if you look to Surah 12, the same sort of wording, it sort of implies the hands aren't cut off. But whoever repents after his wrongdoing and reforms, Allah will turn to him. Surely Allah is forgiving, merciful. Knowest thou not that Allah is He to whom belongs the kingdom of the heavens and the earth? He chastises whom He pleases, and forgives whom He pleases, and Allah is possessor of power over all things. O Messenger, let not those who grieve thee Let not those grieve thee who hasten to disbelief from among those who say with their mouths, We believe, and their hearts believe not. And from among those who are Jews, they are listeners for the sake of a lie, listeners for They are listeners for the sake of a lie, listeners for another people who have not come to thee, and they alter the words after they are put in their places, saying, If you are given this, take it, and if you are not given this, be cautious, and he for whom Allah intends temptation, thou controllest not for him against Allah. Those are they whose hearts Allah intends not to purify. For them is a disgrace in this world, and for them is a grievous chastisement in the hereafter. It's not God who tempts. People cross boundaries, and God's not going to stop you from facing further temptation if you go to face it. He might be merciful, but don't expect it. Don't expect that particular. Oh, God's going to stop me. Listeners, for the sake of a lie, devourers of forbidden things. So if they come to thee, judge between them, or turn away from them. And if thou turn away from them, they cannot harm thee at all. And if thou judge between them with equity. Surely Allah loves the equitable. And how do they make thee a judge? And they have the Torah wherein is Allah's judgment, yet they turn away after that. And these are not believers. And, we sort of, this is supposed to be an example for us. And look at what people can be doing. People can sit back and they can be all like, instead of looking towards the revelation and the inspiration, we're going to look for someone else or some other way, and we're going to follow their system. People talk about assimilation, and no, be your own person. Be of your own path. Don't be some sociopath looking and saying, oh, well, these are the popular ways, and I'm going to make the compromises towards popularity. And no, you're not an authentic person in that case. And if you just, whatever you feel like doing, don't go down that path either. Surely we revealed the Torah having guidance and light. Might did the prophets who submitted themselves judge for the Jews and the rabbis and the doctors of law. Because they were required to guard the book of Allah, and they were witnesses thereof. So fear not the people, and fear me, and take not a small price for my messages. And whoever judges not by what Allah has revealed, those are the disbelievers. And we prescribe to them in that life is for life, and eye for eye, and nose for nose, and ear for ear, and tooth for tooth, and wounds retaliation. But whoso forgoes it, it shall be an expiation for him. And whoever judges not by what Allah has revealed, those are the wrongdoers. And we sent after them in their footsteps Jesus, son of Mary, verifying that which was before him of the Torah, and we gave him the gospel containing guidance and light, and verifying that which was before it of the Torah, and the guidance, and an admonition for the dutiful. And we see that we believe in the original revelation that came to all the prophets. And they're claiming to have the gospel or the Torah. This is what they should be confirming. And it would make sense for them to confirm each other rather than have a new law of atonement and all this other stuff. God sending messengers to restore the law. And let the people of the gospel judge by that which a law is revealed in it, and whoever judges not by what a law is revealed, those are the transgressors. And we have revealed to thee the book with the truth, verifying that which is before it of the book, and the guardian over it. So judge between them by what a law is revealed, and follow not their low desires from the truth that has come to thee. For every one of you we appointed a law and a way, and if Allah had pleased, he would have made you a single people, but that he might try you in what he gave you, so vie one with another in virtuous deeds. To Allah you will all return, so he will inform you of that wherein you differed, and that thou shouldest judge between them by what Allah has revealed, and follow not their low desires, and be cautious of them lest they seduce thee from part of what Allah has revealed to thee. Then if they turn away, know that Allah desires to afflict them for some of their sins, and surely many of the people are transgressors. Is it then the judgment of ignorance that they desire, and who is better than Allah to judge for a people who are sure? O you who believe, take not the Jews and the Christians for friends, they are friends of each other. They are friends of each other, and whoever among you takes them for friends, he is indeed one of them. Surely Allah guides not the unjust people. Now there's two things being implied that you may have missed. There is the preference. You should always prefer somebody who is a mu'min, a muhsin, or even just a Muslim, over those who are not legally in Islam. But it explicitly says it's the closest friend. That is what's being said. But thou seest those in whose heart is a disease, hastening towards them, saying, we fear lest a calamity should befall us. Maybe Allah will bring the victory or a commandment from himself, so they will regret what they hide in their souls. And those who believe will say, are these they who swore by Allah with their most forcible oaths that they were surely with you, and their deeds will bear no fruit, so they will be losers? O you who believe, should any one of you turn back from his religion, then Allah will bring a people whom he loves, and who will love him. Humble towards believers, mighty against the disbelievers, striving hard in Allah's way, and not fearing the censor of any censurer. This is Allah's grace. He gives it to whom he pleases, and Allah is ample giving, knowing. Only Allah is your friend, and his messenger. Only Allah is your friend and his messenger, and those who believe, those who keep up the prayer, and pay the poor rate, and they bow down, and whoever takes Allah and his messenger, and those who believe for friend, surely the party of Allah, they shall triumph. O you who believe, take not for friends those who take your religion as mockery and as sport, from among those who were given the book before you, and the disbelievers, and keep your duty to Allah if you are believers, and when you call to prayer, they take it as a mockery and a sport, and that is because they are a people who understand not. Say, O people of the book, do you find fault with us for aught except that we believe in Allah, and in that which has been revealed to us, and that which was revealed before, while most of you are transgressors? Shall I inform you of those worse than this in retribution from Allah? They are those whom Allah has cursed, and upon whom He brought His wrath, and of whom He made apes and swine, and who serve the devil. These are in worse plight, and further astray from the straight path. And when they came to you, they say, we believe, and surely they come in unbelief, and they go forth in it. And Allah knows best what they conceal, and thou seest many of them vying one with another in sin and transgression, and their devouring illegal gain. Certainly evil is that which they do. Why do not the rabbis and the doctors of law prohibit them from their sinful utterances and their devouring unlawful gain? Certainly evil are the works they do. And when it comes to al-Muslimin condemning evil, don't they read the Qur'an? Don't they say their salah? Is not every evil and ignorance condemned? Is not every good and truth promoted? And the Jews say, the hand of Allah is tied up, their own hands are shackled, and they are cursed for what they say. Nay, both His hands are spread out. He disperses as He pleases, and that which has been revealed to thee from thy Lord will certainly make many of them increase in inordinance and disbelief, and we have cast among them enmity and hatred till the day of resurrection. Whenever they kindle a fire for war, Allah puts it out. And they strive to make mischief in the land, and Allah loves not the quality of the mischief-making, and if the people of the book had believed and kept their duty, we would certainly have removed from them their evils and made them enter gardens of bliss. And if they had observed the Torah and the Gospel and that which is revealed to them from their Lord, they would certainly have eaten from above them and from beneath their feet. There is a party of them keeping to the moderate course, and most of them evil is that which they do.